that people used to have on bank accounts, and then banks were doing it. And so we have like more features than other people do. Um, but do they usually set up at like lunchtime, or how do they?
Yeah, they'll usually end at like maybe a lunch or it could be like well, our people are coming in at 5 now, so that's a thing. But usually they'll come in at 6:30 and then they'll go back in at like 2:30 in the afternoon and try to hit the shifts and stuff like that.
Yeah. You say the whole that early thing. When I've done it when I worked at BDS and Polaris, and Polaris their night shift meal break was like 10 o'clock at night, and they're like, "You probably don't want." I was like, "No, I will." And I was like, "I will do it," and it was just so funny because they walked in the break room and they didn't expect somebody from a bank to be there, and I was like, "Hello," and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you know?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I mean, this is if y'all work this time, we can work this time, you know." Let me give you my card. Do you have a card? Okay. I'll just. What kind of crap?
It does have some.
All right, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Thank y'all for being here. This is our experiment with this type of event and trying a few different things with the type of agenda. And my name is Missy Evans, and I'm the president and CEO of the Hartselle Area Chamber. And I just want to first of all welcome you and say thank you for being here. Especially on a school night to come out, and I know this time of year is very busy, but it's a priority to us to put on these types of events because we believe strongly in helping to facilitate dialogue between our public servants and you, the people that they serve. Just to back up a little bit, the Hartselle Chamber, the purpose of the Hartselle Chamber is to advance the welfare of the Hartselle area. And we see our communities right outside of the city limits of Hartselle as a very important part of the entire community. And we've been having a lot of discussions recently about how when, let's take for example, we have even some of our Main Street business owners here that even when our little downtown Main Street area, when it prospers and grows, then there's a ripple effect. And so as we look to the welfare of Hartselle, and we hope that our growth is going to impact Falkville, and as Falkville is growing, that's impacting Eva. And as Ray Long has said, that as Decatur grows, so grows Morgan County. And so we want to adopt that same mindset. And we just want y'all to know that the Hartselle Area Chamber is invested in seeing your communities, even though our name says Hartselle, we're very invested in seeing your communities prosper, and we want to make sure that we're doing what we can to serve you and the people that are part of your communities. Our vision is to build community through business, which means that our entity is made up of private business owners and donors that believe that the best way to grow a community is by helping that community prosper through private business. And we do this with volunteer leadership. And why do legislative matters, why are they important to us? It's because we believe that engaging in legislative conversations and initiatives, they're the kind of thing that cause economic growth and promote an environment in which businesses can prosper. So we want to make sure, excuse me, it's the first time I'm doing this, so y'all give me a little grace here. Okay, the last thing I want to say is what are state of communities and why are we doing this? Well, first of all, it's because we believe in people and that our leaders need the opportunity to interact with and communicate to the people that they serve, which is why we were very intentional about giving y'all that time at the beginning to make sure that you could look at them eye to eye, you could rub shoulders with them. It stokes their fire and helps their motivation to serve when they can identify the ways to encourage you all and to help direct resources into your problems, into your areas. So we want to help facilitate those opportunities for our local leaders to get up close and personal with you because you are the people that they serve. And then secondly, it's an opportunity for you all, for you community members, to ask questions that impact your families and your businesses. And you need that. We are all living in a culture right now where we don't trust our public officials. And there's an undercurrent there that we as the chamber want to combat. We want to make sure it's easy for you to access them and that you grow to trust their motives. And the only way that can really happen is with a handshake and with those connections. So that's why we want to make this as easy to access as we can for you all and give you that chance to really connect with them on a personal level. So as we engage in this conversation, we know that these leaders have been in difficult times. We have seen changes in our community that have been impacted by COVID and other things that we would have never been able to predict over the last 2 to 3 years. And these leaders have demonstrated a great capacity to lead on some of these critical issues. And their leadership has extended beyond just the small community that they may have given responsibility for. Their voices and their leadership is extending beyond just right here. So when you're listening, you're going to hear a little bit about what some of their leadership priorities are, what they anticipate as upcoming challenges, and maybe a little bit about the roadmap that they see for the future, including some of their plans, some of their goals, and the ways that they're seeking to make impacts. So I'm going to just leave it there, and I'm looking forward to letting these very capable people share with y'all. Daxton Mays is going to be facilitating our evening tonight. He'll be asking some questions that have been provided to them so that they could think through those things. And Daxton serves currently as the Director of Operations at the Hartselle Utilities company there that services the Hartselle community. And he also is seated on our board. He's one of our board of director members, and he's the liaison to government affairs and advocacy. So before Daxton comes up and asks those questions, I've asked the officials that are here today to just take a moment, introduce themselves, and share 5 to 7 minutes about who they are, what some of their priorities are, and as I just mentioned, maybe what are some of the anticipated challenges that they see, and maybe a little bit about what's important to them, both as fathers and grandfathers, mothers and daughters, just so that you can get to know them a little bit better as well. So thank you for being here again, and Daxton will be closing up the evening, so that's it for my comments, and I do appreciate you making the time to join us tonight. So thank you.
All right, Missy, thank you so much. Again, my name is Daxton Mays. Glad to be here tonight, and appreciate the attendance we have here, and hopefully those joining in online with us as well. At this time, I'm going to ask our panelists to do that intro that Missy just mentioned. So if we want to, we're going to start this side and work that way. So I'm going to turn it over to Falkville Mayor Ken Winkles.
You don't care, I'm gonna stand up. I can't talk without using my hand, my legs, my head. So welcome to Falkville. I'm glad you're here. We've had a big last 2 years. I guess it's the last time we've done this, and there's been a lot going on in town. We've got a lot of new business growth in town. Got some residential growth looking to the future. We've done a lot of, with COVID, our employees fought through it. We worked every day. We couldn't stay home. Because if we'd stayed home, you wouldn't have water, you wouldn't have sewer, something would have happened. And so all the employees was great. They've been great to work through this. So if you see them, please tell them thank you. We had we filed for several grants during the COVID. Of course, everything kind of got held up, and all of a sudden it broke through, and they've all come out at one time. So you've seen a lot of improvements out here. They finally get done with the highway and open it back up. Of course, Ken closes half the street, and Falkville will come to the school during school season. And it is a big upgrade. That's a $654,000 project on this side of town. It was granted by ALDOT, a TAP grant. Our max on it was like $146,000. So very good project there. It's redoing sidewalks and drainage. We had we're just looking right now into the future. We just received a CDBG and an ARC grant totaling $654,000 on the other side of town for drainage between Piney Grove Street, 55, and between Douglas Road and Patton Street. So that's a real low area over there, especially on 55, and to get the water off the people, it will help. You know, we've got a lot of growth in town, and I am trying to supervise that to the point that we don't have to do this drainage project in the future. We look into their drawings and everything, and you know, it takes a while to get some of this started and done, but it is a big deal. And for Falkville to spend, we're spending a total of $1.6 million this year and next year on grants, and our matches on it's about $400,000. So that. I think that's going to be a big hit for Falkville. She's praying for the first of the month, but we'll see. She's having to deal with the health department. So, but like I said, all the employees have been great through this COVID. They've never not responded to me. My police department is out here protecting you every day, doing their job, and my fire department. Right now, they're volunteers, and they're working on their 16th month of responding to 100% of the call. And that's unheard of for volunteer fire departments. But you got 16 months, and they're responding to around 130 calls a month. And, you know, they don't get paid. They work a job just like you and me, and come out at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, so they do a great job, and I got to thank them for what they do. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Our next panelist up is Miss Tracy Turrentine. She's the principal at Eva School and candidate for Morgan County Schools Superintendent. Tracy, please share a little bit about yourself.
Like you said, I'm Tracy Turrentine. I'm running for Superintendent Morgan County Schools. When they emailed me about coming and speaking about Eva, I thought this is awesome because Eva is home to me. That's where I was born and raised. Mayor Livingston couldn't be here tonight, but he also was born and raised there too. So there's a lot of, it's a small town with a big heart, and a lot of things that they have been known for, the world's biggest hayride and things. But we're a country town, and we're a small town, but there's a lot of great people that live in Eva. Being able to be the principal at Eva has been very special to me, to go back there and make improvements to our school. I am a mom to 12-year-old twins, and when I'm not at school, I am coaching basketball or softball or volleyball with them, with my daughter. So I have a 12-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son. So tonight they're actually at All-Stars practice. My son won the championship in All-Stars, and my daughter did too. And I'm actually a coach for my daughter's team, and we play in Hartselle tomorrow night for the district. So they're practicing tonight without me, but to have the opportunity to be here to talk about my hometown is very important to me. I was a graduate from Brewer High School, so I went to Eva, then went to Brewer High School. I went to Wallace on a basketball scholarship, and I played softball my whole life. But while I was there, they also asked me to do fast pitch. So I ended up going to school at Wallace, playing basketball on scholarship, and doing fast pitch softball. So any competition or anything going on, I'm all in. So then I ended up getting my degree in elementary education, and I taught for 11 years, coached for 11 years. To be honest, I actually went into teaching to coach, but then I fell in love with the education and the learning part of it. And I become as competitive in it as I have sports. I then, 2014, 2015, become Morgan County Elementary Teacher of the Year. And from there, I started saying, what else can I do? Much like these gentlemen around me, the more you learn, the more you challenge yourself. And so then I got my degree in administration, and that's where I then started digging into administration throughout the county here in Morgan County. I become the instructional coach for the whole county, and I worked with the instructional coaches on their data, report cards, and things like that. Then at that same time, I was also assistant principal at Spockville Junior High School. And while we were there, we were the first school. I led instruction, and then Mary Spiegel was the principal at the time. And while we were there, we were able to be the first that I was there and worked with our teachers, and we scored a 91 next year. So we saw through. But one thing that we also were able to do is, you'll hear a lot about growth, but the most important thing also is the academic achievement part of the report card, and I'll talk a little bit more about that too. But Spockville Junior High was able to score high on it also. I then was challenged. Well, we also got blue ribbon, and there's different levels of blue ribbon, and we got, while we were at Spockville Junior High, got the highest honor of Lighthouse. And then I was challenged with Eva at the time. Our scores were very low. I think Sparkman at the time was the lowest scoring school, and then we were right. Eva was right above them as far as in the county. And I was challenged with, see what you can do and see if you can change their scores also. The next year, our scores were raised higher, and it's just, I'm really good at getting down to the basics of good teaching. It's not some fluff or anything crazy that I do with my teachers, but I'm really good at making it, focusing them on what we need to learn and to help kids learn. While at Eva, a few other unique things that we do is our community. I met with Mayor Livingston and people throughout our community, our bankers. We have several businesses, restaurants, and people. And what was important to Eva was home ec. So we were able to bring back home ec to Eva, and our food land, and several of our businesses, our bank, they all donate things for us. Our kids are cooking, they're working on balancing checkbooks up at Eva, and that was something that was important to our people at our school. I'm probably one of the only schools in the county, I would say, that has been able to work my schedule where I have math tutoring all day long and we do it for about 60 kids. With the Literacy Act, we have intervention teachers for the whole county, but I've also been able to work my schedule for math tutoring also. Of course, we have Frontier Days up at Eva, and we're a big part of it. We are working on getting new playground equipment, and we're working with Falkville actually on that. So local businesses, and so talking about Eva, I could probably go on forever.
No, you're just fine. Well, very good. Tracy, thank you so much. I think you hear between the two comments we've had so far about how partnerships are so important to have progress through whatever you're doing. So, our last panelist is Mr. Please get Tracy on. Our last panelist is Mr. Shane Bryan, principal of Falkville High School. Shane is in his first year as the principal of the high school, as I learned earlier when we had a chance to talk. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Shane to share a little bit about himself and what's going on here at Falkville High School. Shane.
Thank you, Dax, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. It is an honor and privilege to be at Falkville High School and represent this community, the community that I grew up in school that I graduated from, and the place I've spent the most of my career working, and then just to be able to transition into this position, which probably at one time I never saw coming, but it has really been a blessing, and I feel like I've been blessed with the opportunity to really take this place to the next level, and to I feel like we're doing things, really special here, just based on the people I get to come and work with every day. Just to be able, a lot of times I can just get out of their way because I got such an awesome staff that, I'm really just blessed to work with great people from our cafeteria staff to our custodians and all the way up to the awesome teachers we have, and the assistant principal I get to work with every day, and him coming aboard has been a blessing. But anyway, just being from here and being so fortunate to be able to make the change, it really drives my vision for this place. And and I always said that my personal vision for this school when I took this job is I want this place to be a place that parents can bring their kids and feel good about their kids going to school here and the education they get moving forward. Our mission statement here, we kind of stole this one from Morgan County Schools. They changed theirs a lot. It come out and we let it stick here, and we just and it stuck with us. But start here, go anywhere, because we believe that you can start here at Falkville, and people have done that, and they have gone to great things, great careers, and those types of things. And so we try to sell that message to our kids and emphasize that. This is my 4th year here at the high school as an administrative position. My first year as the principal, I was assistant principal for 3 years, but I have been a part of the Falkville feeder program. I was the principal at the elementary for 5 years, and so I've been able to learn so much from where they start to where they go. And I always say a lot of times that dealing with kindergartners or pre-K and dealing with seniors, there's not a lot of difference sometimes. I mean, you end up dealing with a lot of the same ones. But and it's real, it's funny the transition that you see, because a lot of the kids that you see some just great stories. You see some things that never change, and then you see kids that branch out, and you're like, man, I watched this kid and some of the things that they were involved in elementary, and seeing where they're at now, and just seeing them thrive and succeed, and you didn't see that at the time, and that's impressive. But anyway, but like I said, I love Falkville. We'll be going through a lot of changes this year in our school system, because we're going to have a new superintendent this time next year. I have a great relationship with Robbie Elliott, our current superintendent, and but I know we're going to have either Ms. Turrentine or Dr. Dillard, who is here tonight with us as well. And so one of them, I'm going to be working for next year. And so people ask me, well, what's your thoughts on superintendent? And I've actually told both of them, and I tell people that ask me, I am 100% for Falkville. My job is to make this place the best possible, and that's what I strive to do, and what I'm going to represent this place as long as I'm here. And I'm going to work hard for whoever I'm working for. So it doesn't matter to me. Whoever gets a superintendent position, I'm going to work hard for them, but they need to know that I'm going to be working hard for Falkville, and I'm going to be, sticking up for our school, because I feel that strongly about it. I watched this place evolve over the years from, and kind of take a culture change that I feel like Mr. Morris helped put some good people in place, and so the culture was good when I got here, and we've been able to bring some people on board that I just feel like has really made this place a special place to work, a special place to go to school, and so I think there's a really solid culture in place, and so anyway, looking at when I come aboard, I knew academically there's some areas that we needed to improve in, and so one of the areas in math, and I looked at, okay, let's look at the foundation where it starts, that we can control, which is our 6th grade, 6 through 8. And one of the things that, we've had a lot of, a lot of turnover in middle school that's hurt our consistency. And that can bleed over into, the performance of our kids. And so anyway, then we looked at, things that we needed to change and those types of things. And so we actually got a good plan in place to help with our middle school, in particular math and reading. I mean, we've got to improve in both. But I feel like we're really getting the buy-in of some change. I've watched the changes take place. Our teachers are starting to take ownership, and they really are working hard to try to get some things in place and that we can build on. And so we had we worked. She mentioned the Blue Ribbon Schools process, and I told my staff when this was approached to us, and it was going to be something that's part of all Morgan County schools, and I said, I'm not about hanging banners on the wall, because I've been there, I've done that with programs that I've seen that, boy, they sell you on banners and you raise all this money and you stick a banner up on your wall, and they walk away with a big check. In the scheme of things, what did we get from it? So this particular program, what sold me on the Blue Ribbon Schools is that this is about school improvement. And I said, if I don't care what all the recognition we get, I want the end result to show that we have made improvements here at Falkville High School. So I work with Jane Elperson, the representative of Blue Ribbon Schools. I've been meeting with her monthly. And she came in, and I said, when she came in, I said, look, don't hold back. I said, punch me where it hurts. But I said, I want to turn this around, and I want to be able to, share with our staff the areas that we can improve. And they base theirs off what the top performing schools in the nation are doing, what's working. And so we have, we went and we've implemented areas in our instruction and really focused our efforts on teaching standards, which is so important, because a lot of times that it's bad about getting deviated away from. And so teaching those standards is so important. And so we've really placed our emphasis there. And we've also got we've got a plan in place this year to really implement ACT prep in the best way we can, because we don't have a class that we can devote to that. But we have been, my team this week has laid out a plan for what we're going to do going into our ACT in April that we take. And our a lot of things when we go in and we met with our staff and that teaches our juniors that take it. And I know, it starts not great, but they had already been doing a lot of things that, just themselves. And that's the type of people that you want working for you, that they're a step ahead. And I think that's great. But anyway, we're also excited because our graduation rate last year was probably about 85%. I think that's right. And I'm like, there's a lot of factors that some you can control and some you can't. But this year, we are very positive that our grad rate's going to be at 95 or over %. And that is huge, because 30 points of your state report card come from that. And so we've already, based on our math and who we got on our campus, we're gonna be at 95%, and that's a huge turnaround. 100% of the students that we got on campus will get a college and career readiness. They'll meet that standard for that the state asked, and that's gonna add to our state report card score. And then as far as our just as I close here, I know I kind of went a little long, but our big thing was closing our achievement gap and improving our achievement. We were able to, every school through our school system, and Mr. Elliott, that was one of his things, was putting an interventionist in every school. And man, our interventionist has really been working hard to, working with our teachers and taking over things and working to find ways to improve it, and that we have in our classroom that's going to, in the end, improve our achievement. But we have a great relationship with our board member, Mr. Mike Tarpley, and a great partnership with the town of Falkville. I mean, they've been great to work with as well. And so like I said, I can't say it enough. I'm blessed to be here. I really am excited about Falkville High School, our community, and the growth that we're going to see. And so I appreciate the opportunity to share all that with you. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Shane. All right. Do want to highlight, as you notice, we've got 2 educators here on our panel, and I think that is you'll see that across our State of the Community events, because I believe as an area, as a county, we believe that growth and positive growth is going to be spurred through education, and I think that is where a lot of people place emphasis, and we're going to make sure that we're able to highlight what's going on great within our education systems in the county. At this time, we're going to kind of dive into some more direct questions that are going to be kind of directed just at the operations of each of these organizations and their footprints. Some of them may be a little open-ended, so we'll let these panelists kind of take the question and answer them as they see fit, and run with them as they need to. We're going to rotate through, and so at this time we're going to start with Mr. Ken Winkles. So Mayor Winkles, Falkville has seen some commercial growth and has some planned residential growth for the area. Talk a little bit about how your local government is preparing for that growth.
Okay. We've been working since 2016 on upgrading our sewer, water, all the services in town. We've actually added 2 police officers to our force, not just for the growth, but for the way the world's going nowadays. My officers are out there, 1 officer per shift, and that's not safe, So we have worked to we got a COP grant to fund 2 more officers. So we're trying to hire them, but it's hard to hire police officers now. But as far as the water and sewer, we work close with Hartselle. Hartselle's great to work with on the water system. Welcome to come help me anytime I need it. We're trying to get a little more independent there, not calling as much, but we do call them on occasions to help us. But we got a CDBG grant in 2017, which upgraded the sewer on the east side of town. We had a lot of infiltration of water, just groundwater getting in our sewer system, which was overloading our system. And we've got it. We spent about $450,000 on that project, and it reduced it by about 200,000 gallons during the heavy rain. So it really helped. We spent about $250,000 on our treatment area, and we've actually bought it about 20 years. So it's really moved it up. And with that, we're doing a lot of meter change out stuff right now, trying to get rid of lead and copper that ADM don't like. So we're working with that. So if we cut your water off for an hour, don't be mad at us. We're just doing what we got to do. So, but the council's looking into the future of Falkville, and they have ever since. I've got a great council to work with. They've stood behind me on everything I've tried to do, and we've got a lot of potential growth. A lot of business looking at this area, a lot of homes looking at this area. Bryan built, they're getting full. Hartselle building, and we're next down the line. So, and people want small town. So, a lot of people love small town. But that's what we've done to try to prepare for this. Also, the planning commission, which Shane's a part of, I'm a part of. We're looking at adopting new planning regulations for subdivisions and different stuff in town, and possibly going to rezone some areas to make it more business friendly than manufacturing. But that's where we at on our growth.
Yes, sir. Very good. A lot of things that people may not be aware of in smaller towns and municipalities, generally speaking, the elected mayor has to function as the superintendent of the water and wastewater systems, whereas you see in larger municipalities, usually an independent company takes care of that. So, along with the municipal headaches that sometimes come with leading a town, you also get to pick up the water and sewer, which is I'm sure everybody's excited about. So, thank you so much, Ken. Tracy, we're going to jump right into some questions dealing with what is going on in the education world right now. So, you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit about the Reading Literacy Act and how that is impacting your teachers and teaching styles at your school?
So the Alabama Literacy Act was passed in 2019, and so what they are trying to do is get third grade students on reading on grade level by the time they get to third grade. So they're tracking K through third grade and trying to get on grade level. As a principal, my job has been to make sure our teachers have everything that they need to be able to fulfill this act, and we're watched very closely because it is law now. So some of the trainings that we've been doing, which has been something that's come from the state that we have to do, is Orton Gillingham. We are doing letters training. We have been trained in dyslexia and noticing when kids being able to identify them at younger ages. We have actually been in a pilot with Iran on dyslexia, and we've noticed that we might be able to even notice it even earlier than what even the Literacy Act is doing. We have a great director at the central office, Sheree Humphreys, and she's the master of going to all the state trainings, and she comes back and she meets with us and gives us information. Of course, the law is this thick, and reading through it, we went highlighted and went through it by detail. Some other things that the Literacy Act has gave us is with ARI, we have a regional coach that comes. She was actually here yesterday at our school, and they come and work with me and my instructional coach, and then we are also given an instructional coach, and their job is to go in and do coaching cycles with teachers. So they work solely with the teachers and what their instruction should look like. So with the Literacy Act and all of the trainings, what we're trying to, a lot of the things that you'll hear about is multisensory. And so with multisensory, we're working on hands-on and then putting movement with learning. You would be very surprised at, everybody in here, our brains are very different. And so I've done a lot of brain research, and then also with the Literacy Act, it's making us think about, so let's just think about special ed kids, and everybody's brain is different. If this part of the brain is not working as well as this, maybe they're stronger in reading than they are in math. Some of the multisensory part of it is getting cross body, where you're moving and crossing your body and waking up both sides of the brain. We have, I'm thinking of one special ed kid that we have right now who has not been able to read, and she was in 4th grade last year. And for the first time, once we got this training and started putting movement to it, she was then seeing sight words, spelling sight words, and it's been so sad because just that motion of waking up her brain and moving from side to side, even if it's just make everybody do it, spelling out cat, going at, and then blending cat, and then saying it again. Just amazing what you could do with motion and putting hands on in kids' hands. And we have seen amazing things with some of the training that we've got. Does the Literacy Act put a little pressure on us? Yes. 3rd grade teachers, they're feeling it, because once they get there, it's you either pass the ACAP state test and you look at either you're retained or you move on. But there's also a portfolio that we keep on each kid that is scoring low, or any new kid that moves into our school. So those are the kids that we have portfolios on, and those are also the kids that go to after school programs. So any kid that's scoring low in 5 of the components, such as reading, comprehension, vocabulary, sight words, and those items, then they are offered intervention throughout the day, and then they're also offered after-school tutoring. And but the most important part is from me and as superintendent would be to make sure that our teachers are trained and that our principals are giving them any helping with assistance programs, whatever they might need. And my hope is to be able to do that across the whole county.
Of course. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Bryan, will you share with us a little bit about the career and technical opportunities offered to students at your school?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, my background's career tech education. I was an agri-science teacher for 17 years before I moved into administration, and so that that's my bread and butter as far as my background goes. Is career tech education. I value it. The majority of our kids will take that path. Only a smaller percentage go on the 4-year colleges, but the majority of our kids work in some type of area related to career tech. At Falkville High School, we have an agri-science program and a family consumer science program. Miss Ashley Holmes does our agri-science program and does an outstanding job. And Miss Amanda New does our family consumer science, and she does an outstanding job as well. And I love going to their classrooms and just seeing kids a lot of times that maybe struggle in an academic classroom, but they are thriving in there and blossoming in ways that, and I, of course, as a teacher at that time, I would see that I saw kids that, really struggled to read, but they could do anything mechanically. And I can think of a parent of a kid right now at our school that I had who I'm not sure, I cannot remember if he was able, with the requirements at that time, to get the diploma, but he has excelled in his career area. And I knew it when I had him as a student because he was so, sound mechanically. And a lot of times it's a shame that, we try to do a one-size-fits-all for our kids, and the way that they're, they grade a school, judge a school, and kind of set it up that if a kid is not performing in this area academically, then they're not, having this, then they're not going to be as successful because they are not, showing this particular ACT score or this amount of achievement. Kids have to be met where they're at, and there's different levels, in my opinion, of intelligence. And some of those intelligences, or some of that intelligence is founded in being able to work with our hands and being able to work mechanically and see things that somebody that can see out of a book and interpret out of a book can't, they're not even on the same planet. And so we have to meet the needs of all of our kids. Now, with that being said, we have about 30 of our kids, and we average about 30 to 40 each year that have been going to Brewer at the Career Tech Center there. And they take, there's everything from auto body and welding to cosmetology and food science and child care that our kids go and are able to have access to. And so those are, so our kids, have opportunities here on campus, or they get to travel each morning over to Brewer and take the career tech classes there, those that choose. And then we've got, with the partnership that we developed with Hartselle, we've got several of our kids. Kind of the going thing right now, Sunoco's been a place that has hired a lot of our kids that co-op, and they work in the mornings. Some work in the afternoons, but we've got some that work till about 10 o'clock, and then they maybe take one class through an online course, and then they come to our campus maybe at about 11, and so so we have some of those. There's as far as the career tech area, Morgan County is extremely blessed with a very strong career tech program, and not all school systems have that opportunity to have those types of programs or that strong of a program, and Morgan County always has. And so just can't stress enough how vitally important those are to meet the needs of all of our kids.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think the goal is always to find the next steps for each particular kid, not necessarily the one step fits all.
Absolutely.
So that's great. Mayor, you mentioned a few partnerships and things that have happened in Falkville over the last few years. How important are the community partnerships with local legislators and civic groups for the town of Falkville? And how have those impacted y'all?
No, anytime, Shane can answer to this too. Anytime we need money, we go to our legislators and ask for it. And you know, for a little town like Falkville, you know, 1,300 people in this town, and to receive 1.2 in grant money is unheard of. I mean, it really is. Of course, everybody's saying on the news they're giving money away, giving it away. I don't know who's going to pay it back, but hopefully we can use it justified and make our town better with it. But it's big in our civic group. Our Lions Club does a program every year, and I was so proud of this year, especially with the tornado hit Mayfield, Kentucky. They ended up serving in the community and in Mayfield, Kentucky, 151 parents. That's huge. So, you know, that's what your civics groups do, and it helps to have them in your town. And you know, so we really thrive on them. Our business at the auction. If you haven't been to the auction downtown, you need to go because it's right there at 31 and Grissom Way or 2nd Street at the red light. They take up toy donations year round for the Lions Club. They'll sell toys every night, and if the toys don't get sold or somebody will buy them, and the auctioneer actually buys a lot and just puts back for them. And so it really is a good thing. And, we've got a lot of good businesses in town to help with the donations and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. So thank you very much. Ms. Turntine, what are some things you're doing at your school to help keep morale up and place emphasis on mental health with your students?
So we kind of have a theme each year also, and ours this year, because it has been tough over the last few years, was better together. So we've really I think it all comes from leadership, and I think our teachers would come in here and say that we have a very good culture in our school, and I think it started when we revamped where our teachers were last year, and we put them in professional learning teams. Like I have my pre-K and kindergarten. Our school's set up with like 4 classroom doors in quads is what we call it. And so they're together and they collaborate often. And then my 1st and 2nd grade are, and my 3rd and 4th, and then my intervention teachers are all. And then if you go upstairs, 5th and 6th are right there together, and 7th and 8th grade is. And we've also set up our classrooms environments so that our kids are also collaborating. So we try not to do the straight rows with desks. If you come in our school, you see probably the most creative ways of doing your desks. They've got them grouped together. They've got U-shapes. They've got lines right next together going this way. It's not your traditional classroom that you've seen, and we've worked our best to get away from that. So also talking about how we've done with our learning how the brain works, but we've also talked about feedback with our kids. If you do any kind of research, you can see that just feedback between the teacher and the child, or either 2 children together working together, it will show that kids can grow anywhere over a half a year to a year of growth just by a teacher who does a great job with feedback. And so we really talk about our kids and our teachers communicating well together continuously. In our math classes, I tell them, how many times can a math teacher give every kid a problem and say, yes, that's right, let's work on that one, and continuously to do that. And as many problems as we can get in, the better we're going to get. And the same with reading. Each day, our focus each day is how much can we read. One of my favorite parts of the day, though, is early in the morning after I do car line, is I walk down the hallway and I check every teacher. But our teachers, they greet their students every day. They're out in the hallway whenever the bell rings. But not only are they greeting kids, smiling at kids, they are also becoming really good friends. And my teachers, when they love who they work with and love their job, it makes a great environment, and we really do have a good culture at Eva. Like I said, my favorite part of the day is walking down the hallway, and as I go through those quads, those teachers are communicating, they're bouncing ideas off of each other, and it's just a really good thing to do. We also, we celebrate a lot, we eat lots of food, and so that helps also. But I think leadership and making teams, grouping your people, hiring and grouping people together that fit together is one of the most important things a leader can do, and it makes it work good.
Absolutely, very good, very good.
I also didn't talk about the mental health part.
Yeah.
So for mental health, we have a great director, Patrick Patterson, and a couple things that we haven't been learned about that we do is that we have Rhythm, which actually we're using it tomorrow because you got the email today too, right, about our Rhythm. But it's a questionnaire for our students. It's a quick email that kids get asking about how they're feeling and how their day's going, how was their night, did they eat this morning? And it's a easy way for students to just say, I'm having a bad day. And they're not having to go and, up to that teacher or tell their friend or just sit there all day and have a bad day. Other things that we have is Say Something. It is an anonymous tip line that we have pictures all over, phone numbers, the website throughout our school where kids know that if so-and-so is saying they're going to do something to themselves or they're not feeling good themselves, they can anonymously let us know either about that child or about themselves. Of course, sometimes there's times when we don't know who it is, but a lot of times we can figure it out too. So, and sometimes that's just their cry for help that they do want us to know. We also have Bark. It's another system that we use in Morgan County, and it sends emails to the administrator if we have any of our kids searching the word suicide or guns or anything imaginable, knives, whatever. It even does cuss words and things like that. So it has a list of words that it continuously looks for: kill, I'm gonna hurt myself, those type words. And so we'll get an email, and if any child is searching things like that or writing about it. And so that's another alert system that we have for mental health. But probably one of the things, our counselors do a great job meeting with our classrooms, and they also do a great job of working with our individual students. But probably one of the weak things that we're not very good at, and as superintendent that I would like to work on, is when we do send a kid to go get evaluated, they come back with a piece of paper and they give it to us at the office, and then they're just put right back into the classroom. And I would like to work on some steps for those students to slowly work themselves back in, and just a little bit. I think we need a better transition for that, because sometimes when we send them off to get evaluated, it's very serious stuff, and then we just put them right back in the classroom when they return. So that's something I would like to work on.
Sure. Sounds like y'all are using technology to really address the mental health needs of your students.
We are, yes.
Very good. Mr. Bryan, tell us a little bit about what your administration and teachers are doing to improve college and career readiness for your high school students.
So one of the things that when I got the job this year was, and I talked to our superintendent, and Dr. Ellis and I had the conversation, but we're like, okay, what we need to figure out what we can do to get all of our kids here at Falkville college and career ready, and to get that indicator, that credential before they graduate. I mentioned that 100% of our seniors this year that are on campus will have will have that. The ones, you know, we've got some that, you know, we've got a couple kids that would have left us, that never enrolled somewhere else, things that we can't control. But as far as the kids that we have on campus, 100% of our kids, of our seniors, will have that college and career readiness standard with their name. Now, as far as what we, you know, what we do, can be done through our career tech programs, through the credentialing process, that kids have the opportunity there. We also offer, you know, AP classes and dual enrollment classes, and that helps them to get that college and career readiness standard as well. And then, of course, you know, things that we do on, one of the things that we did on campus, and I guess if I can take credit for anything, is get, like I said, sometimes you get out of the way. But Dr. Ellis said, hey, I would love for us to have a career fair here at Falkville High School. You know, I know that we go and participate in some, but I think it'd be awesome if we had one here. And so Monica Doherty, who's our career coach in the county, that works with our kids on this as well. And then I have to credit Mr. Lopez, our counselor. But, you know, they got together, formulated a plan, started contacting businesses, started contacting colleges, and we had really an awesome event here at our school that provided our kids the opportunity to see. And this was from, you know, we had from across the state of Alabama. We had Mercedes here. We had colleges from all over here. We had business and industry from right here locally to, you know, in the whole North Alabama area. And our kids were able to, you know, mix it up, to network, to meet, to discuss with other college students and those types of things. And it really was a neat experience. And I really appreciate their efforts on that. Of course, we participate in Workforce Expo. We have guest speakers that come to our school. You know, our government economics teacher, Cody McCain, and he's new to our staff this year, but he's just been a blessing to our kids here and everything. He relates to them so well, and he brought them down to breakfast with the mayor, and our seniors got to see firsthand, you know, what all's going on in local government, kind of like what we're doing here tonight. But that was neat for them. So combine that with the career tech opportunities that they have at Brewer on their campus. There's a lot of ways that we're preparing our kids for the workplace, and I feel like we're on a good path with that. And so, you know, are we where we want to be with it? No, but we've really taken the step to make sure that our kids are granted those opportunities, and we've really, I'm impressed with where we're at. So anyway.
Yeah, very good. I think there's several avenues to achieve that 100% college and career readiness.
There is, and I mentioned most of them on here, but yeah, whether it be through a credential, through a career tech program, through AP classes, through dual enrollment. We actually work with Calhoun. I forgot about this, but Calhoun actually come to our school and work with our students on a class that they actually had to enroll through Calhoun to participate in. And they spent a week, some of the seniors that hadn't acquired theirs were able to work with them. And every kid, we were calling, I mean, Dr. Ellis, you know, he was going, and we were dragging them out of houses to get them up there, but we got them up there. And every kid that enrolled in that showed up every day and followed through and got that credential that week. So anyway, good. There's a lot of different ways.
Yes, sir. Very good stuff. Mayor, tell me a little bit about just a few reasons you believe people should choose to live and have a business here in Falkville.
Well, our motto is a small town, a big family. It has been for years. We implemented something about 3 years ago. We'd had a lot of growth in town with residents, and we implemented a welcome basket. We went to the vendors in town, the businesses in town, and they donate. Mr. Quick donated something, the barber shop donated a haircut. You know, just different things, and then we put an information package in. And it's in a little gift basket, and we started giving them out. Well, I thought we would do 2 or 3 a year. Well, I think we're now on like 22. So, you know, it's really, but when it really got to me was, I had a man and wife. She worked for another municipality. She was the actual clerk at another municipality, and I'm not going to name the municipality, but it wasn't in this county. But they moved to Falkville, and her husband come and had the water cut off. Well, when he did, I gave him the basket, welcomed him to Falkville. Well, when I was leaving, he left, and when I was leaving, he was standing out in the parking lot talking on the phone. And he said, "Hey, does your municipality do this? They give us a welcome basket." And, you know, it really made me feel good because he was very proud of it. He said, "We've made the right choice to move to Falkville." And, you know, it's like, if you move to Falkville, I've always said this, if you ever live in Falkville, it's hard to leave. Now, working in Falkville is one thing, you might leave. Christmas. But anyway, it is a good place to live, and people, if you do move here, you don't want to leave. I've lived here since 1961, and I guess I'm stuck here all my life. So.
Very good. It sounds like the gift basket is one way that y'all kind of put that big family motto into action. Very good. Very good. Ms. Turntine, can you share with us a little bit about how COVID has impacted your student learning throughout the year, this year and then, you know, years in the past?
The best thing that COVID did, it was very few things, but it showed how important our teachers were. You know, I think across the world, the nation, you know, teachers they do remarkable things every day. So when it ended, COVID ended school in March of 2020. If you think about it from an educational look at it, we missed the rigor part of the new items of our instruction that year because, you know, the beginning, basically when school starts each year between August and December, you review a lot and up the intensity of the rigor just a little bit, but then the new items, the majority of them are later in the year. So we missed a lot of new reading standards and math standards there. And then, so if you look at the very next school year, we were virtual on Wednesdays. So that was basically looking at another 35 to 40 days there taken out of our instruction. So you're looking at 2 years of missing being able to get to the rigor and new items of things. So we really had to focus in on the basics and the essential standards and what was most important at the time. And then if you throw in the kids that missed because of close contacts and positives, then you've got another 10 days here and there. And if they were positive, their parents were positive, then you can look at 24 days possibly last year that we had some kids out. So there is a lot of gaps to fill, and what we see now most from it is K through 3rd. Kids that were trying to learn to read and basic foundations are struggling, and we're really having to fill gaps there. And then 4th through 12th grade, I will say, research says there's so many math standards K through 12th grade that when you're 24 is when you will master them. And here we have lost, you know, all those days that I just mentioned with math. So we are really going to, for a long time, see a struggle with our math kids, especially 3rd through 12th grade, because of the view that we miss and that we skip so many things just to get in the basics for each year that we did not get to do a good job of our standards. So we're going to see a struggle for that, especially math, for many years.
Sure. I think we also learned that face-to-face instruction is the best way to instruct.
And I will say face-to-face instruction is the best and not virtual. My child the other day said, "Mom, I do not like virtual days." And I said, "I don't either, because kids are not learning."
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Mr. Bryan, would you tell us a little bit about what is Falkville High School doing to recruit and retain great educators?
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of people try to attach a science to this and that there's a, you know, method to the madness and everything. What I discovered is that if your school's culture is strong, the recruiting and retention takes care of itself. And so, our goal is, you know, to establish a good school culture that we know that people want to come here, be a part of this, want to work in. And so, and I say that because if the school culture is not good, that word to get out. And, you know, good teachers want to be a part of a good culture and want to go to a place that they know they're going to enjoy working at. And if it is, you know, if there's something out of line with that, that word gets out and there's reservations on people's part about coming there. But when people are contacting you about coming to your school and asking about transferring to your school, and because of what they've heard about the work environment there, the teachers that I have, you know, they want good people working here as well. And so when they know something's coming open or position's coming open, they're working with me and helping me to try to recruit and get good people here. And then, you know, I've had people contact me from other school systems and that are, you know, are interested in coming here. And so that, to me, speaks volumes about the culture of your school. If people are interested in coming there and want to find a way to get there. Now, you know, you've got to support your teachers, and that, you know, my staff, goodness, I mean, we were talking the other day, there was a school that was mentioned that they had, you know, saying that maybe there were some things out of line and there wasn't as much quality instruction going on, or sometimes just not a lot of teaching. And then, you know, we were talking, man, you know, you go down our halls, you know, I'm not saying we're perfect, but I mean, our teachers are working every day to help our kids get better. And I don't have to worry about that. You know, again, every place has areas that, you know, are areas of concern and that, but, you know, holistically, I feel like we got a great staff that really wants to try to, really wants our school to shine and that they can help our kids. And I think that, to me, this was one of the best compliments about the culture of our school, because this came indirectly, but an individual that's in all of our schools, you know, a good bit of the time happened to be in our school and spent most of the day there. I didn't think anything about it. I'd actually talked to them briefly, and I didn't spend that much time with them, but you know, talked to them while they were here and went on. And well, that individual apparently had spoke to someone else and had said, I don't know what it is about Falkville, but that place is different. The people are so friendly, and it just has a really positive vibe, you know, while you're there. You just feel good while you're there. And I said, that is the ultimate compliment that you can receive about the culture of your school, is when, because people will, you know, if it's bad, they're going to go talk about it. And a lot of times they'll talk more about it being bad than they will good. But when you made the impact that they went away and they said something positive about your school and about the culture and the climate of it, just in the time that they're there, and there's someone that's in, you know, all of our schools, that really makes you feel good and feels like you're making the, you know, you're in the right direction. So,
yeah, very good, very good. Mayor, kind of same question to you. What is the town of Falkville doing to recruit and retain good employees across all your departments?
Well, like I said earlier, the police department's kind of a challenge. That's nobody wants to be a police officer no more. We've upped the pay. We do all the training we can do with our police officers and all of our employees in town. Actually, when I took over, I'm going to say the base starting pay in town was somewhere around $12 an hour, and that has graduated up. The police department's like $17.50 an hour starting out with no certification, and then we had to send them to school. The raised all of our starting pay. We've actually took on more training for all of our employees, which challenged them with step raises if they get these certifications in different areas. We've got a lot of new employees, and because these big plants open, big money jobs, municipality does not pay what the places pay. But you've kind of got a sensitivity of loyalty to the town you live in too, so it helps a lot that way.
Sure.
And, that's where we're at, and have a lot of good, we got a lot of good employees in town. A lot of them has been there a long time. So our librarian, she's been with us a while. Dawn's been there. She's actually could retire in 5 years, so I might decide whether I'm gonna run for mayor again this year or not. So she keeps me out of trouble a lot.
A lot of times it's all about the help you got in your position.
That's right.
For sure.
Because
We're at about a hour into our discussion, so I've got one more question for Ms. Turrentine and Mr. Bryan, and then we will go across the panel for some closing comments and get everybody out of here on the time we told them we would. All right, Ms. Turrentine, last question for you. As you have qualified to run for the Morgan County School Superintendent, tell us a little bit about your campaign platform and vision for the county school system.
So Josh and I raised our children here, and so I've seen firsthand what Morgan County schools need for our students, and I myself am a results person. I have proven in my 6 years as administration that I can move academics. And when I said earlier that I would talk about our report card a little bit more from my opponent, you're going to hear her talk a lot about growth. And growth is one part of it, but the part that I have been able to achieve is not only growth in my school, but the academic achievement part, which means more kids are on grade level. My opponent has talked about being third in the state with growth, but when you're higher achieving and your academic achievement, your kids are on grade level already, they're not going to show as much growth. So your lower schools are going to grow more than your higher achieving schools. So we in my years at Spockville was able to go from an 83 to a 91 on our report card. This is something you can see on the state website if you go to ALSD and Google report card. It is all there. You can compare our schools. And my opponent has been, we're at Sparkman for 10 years and has still been one of the lower achieving schools in the county. So I am a results person. I'm also your best candidate for athletics. I've coached my educational career, and I know what it's like to be a coach. Our coaches are not paid enough, and that's something that I would work on also for them. Any extracurricular activities are important to me. The safety of our kids, our SROs, I would want a full-time one in every school, because more so now than ever, it is any day that we might have something that we don't even want to talk about happen. So having an SRO at every school is something that would hopefully deter any of that happening. But at least if something does, they're right there. I also want nurses in every school, and to keep our nurses program. Build our buildings, set up a plan for our infrastructures. One of the things that worries me a little bit is that we go too fast and we don't do exactly what we need. I do commend Falkville for putting the brakes on the gym and things like that they were getting to make sure that it fits with what Falkville needs. I needs a new elementary also, and you want all that to connect and work correctly together. So there's a lot of plans for growth throughout our system as far as buildings that need to be done. Crossville's growing also, and there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be done there. Career development, like he said, at Brewer High School, and then throughout some of our high schools having career development. We have one of the best places in the nation here in Morgan County, and working with Dr. Childers to make that even. I mean, we should be blasting it across the country to let people know that this is the best place to come. Not only can we get student achievement, but if college is not the direction that you want to go, then here's another path. And if you want to get into the workforce quicker, as superintendent, I plan to just, my whole goal is to work hard for our kids. And I just think you're not gonna find a better candidate than that. I'm genuine. What I say is true. You're gonna get the truth from me. I'm not fluff and trying to leave things out of anything and not tell the whole truth of what's going on. You'll be working with somebody that you can trust. And as Morgan County Superintendent, I would like to ask for your vote as a candidate on May 24th.
Thank you so much for sharing. Last question for you, Mr. Bryan. Ms. Turntime mentioned athletics. Share with us a little bit about the athletics going on at Falkville High School.
Well, so our athletics program, we first year football coach this year, and started off really strong for the first year, and then encountered a wave of injuries. And at a smaller school, you get your best players go down, and it don't matter even if you're in the SEC, your best player goes down. You know, if you follow Auburn basketball, Jabari Smith that plays for Auburn goes down, they're not going to progress as far as they were going to with him on the team. And so we hit a wave of that this year with some things in football. Basketball, our girls didn't have the success that they had, but our girls basketball team, I know Coach Lacey probably has had the most success during the seasons of any coach that we've had at Falkville High School. Just does an outstanding job, and so they were a little bit down this year, but they for the previous 3 years had made the regionals. And then our boys basketball team this year was one of 3 Falkville teams that had 20-plus win season, and that's a huge turnaround from where this program was a few years ago. People took note of that because it used to be you show up in your Falkville jersey in basketball, that was a W for that team, and that's not the case anymore. So Coach Tomlin's done a really good job making that program strong. Our Coach Tomlin in volleyball, she had a really young team to work with, and so they're making strides there. Our track program and cross country, Falkville's kind of what they're known for, and so we're a lot of young kids there. Baseball team this year should be a strong team if the pitching holds up. They got some kids that are dealing with some arm injuries, but for when you can at a 2A school, if you got two or three really good pitchers, you can go a long ways. And so if our arms hold up, we should be pretty strong there. And our softball team has a new first-year coach, and Coach Mallory Jones, and they're off to a good start. That's a lot of good tradition over the past couple of years in that program. We have a golf program that Miss Sandra Holmes, Coach Holmes, coaches, and so they've got a good many kids doing that. Of course, that's a whole golf is a whole different animal, but anyway, I'm trying to think. I keep thinking I'm forgetting some sport. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Sure.
But our coaches work extremely hard. They work together. I'll tell you what, one thing that you, especially at a small school, is how important it is that our coaches can work together to share our athletes and better our athletes, because, you know, we share a lot of the same ones and between our sports, and it's so vitally important. And our staff we've really got a coaching staff that's all on the same page and working together. And I can't say that's always been the case, but it is now, and that is huge. And so anyway, a lot of positives there in our programs, and you know, our community, we know values our sports and wants our sports to be strong, and our, you know, it's kind of like the football season can a lot of times set the tone for the rest of the year, you know, as far as the pride and that takes place, the enthusiasm, it can kind of set that tone for that. So anyway, if I left the sport out, because you know, I apologize, but I think I covered everybody on that. But we really got some awesome coaches that work with our kids, and I really think our kids will just call it like it is. I mean, you know, and they really respect and appreciate the coaches that we have, and really play hard for them. So we feel like we got a lot of positives there.
So good. Thank you for sharing. As we wrap up here, any closing comments from you, Mr. Bryan?
Well, just thank you for the opportunity to be here, and this, like I said, this place is special. My kids will graduate this year from Falkville High School, and my wife and I we're married 25 years this year, and we couldn't be more proud to be from Falkville. She's actually a Hartselle graduate, but she's all Falkville now, and you know, it is an honor and privilege to be here, and thank you for the opportunity to share about our school.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Hartine, any closing comments?
Yeah, same for us. Anytime you can talk about your hometown and coming back to your hometown or Morgan County and Morgan County schools, it's a blessing. Thank you for everything and putting this together. I appreciate you inviting me.
Yes, very good. Glad to have it. And Mayor,
Yes.
last but not least.
Thanks, Chamber, for doing this. Chamber comes to a lot of events and Falkville ribbon cuttings and different things, and it means a lot when Hartselle area is helping with Falkville, and it does mean a lot. And the two communities work together. I work with Daxton with the utilities of water. I work with several of different leaders in that sewer and water in different places up there. But it makes life a whole lot easier when you can work together with people. I would like to announce some events coming up. March 31st, we do a Christmas card every year. If you've got any pictures that you would think would be beautiful on a Christmas card, it has to be turned in by March 31st. April 9th, we have our Easter egg drop at South Park. That will be at 2 p.m. The eggs will fall out of the helicopter, so the kids can have a good time there. April 29th and 30th will be the town-wide yard sale, starting at 7 a.m. That is a big event. We just started last year. Chris helped us put that together, and we're carrying that on. May 5th is National Day of Prayer. It is an honor to live in a town where you can pray. September the 15th will be Coffee with the Mayor. That will be at 8 o'clock. And then October the 8th will be our Fall Festival this year. Our Fall Festival is really growing. We had 106 vendors this year. So we've grown this thing into something that I really wanted to see happen. And I got to thank everybody that helped me with it, because it is a huge undertaking. And but it is growing every year, and we look forward to all these events and having a good time. The Easter egg drop, I don't get involved in as much as I do the Fall Festival, but I got to have a break every now and then. So, but thank everybody for coming, and I do appreciate the Chambers for putting this on.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. All right, well, audience, please help me give our panelists a round of applause. That's going to conclude our evening here. Again, thank you for your participation. participation. The Hartselle Area Chamber of Commerce thanks you for your support, and please let us know could we be of any help to you in the future. We've got a few more State of the Community events coming up, so those will be publicized in the next coming days, and I hope to see you at one of those. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Thank y'all for coming.